In Dead by Daylight, the killer's goal is to down survivors, pick them up and hook them to win the game. Simple, right? Well, it used to be, but not anymore. The hooking process has been a victim of something that some killers can relate to: power creep. Power creep is when something in a game becomes weaker due to the game evolving around it, leaving it behind, and this is exactly what has been happening to the hooking process for the past 10 years. In this video, I will be talking about what makes hooking so much worse than slugging, how the devs have been causing all of this by changing the wrong things, and how all of this could be fixed, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. First off, let's talk about why I'm making this video. Hooking in the game's current state is detrimental in way too many cases. Picking up a survivor already leaves you vulnerable to being blinded, which isn't hard to counter at all as long as there is an object nearby that covers your face. Except sometimes there's no object, and you're forced to either waste time making sure nobody's around or risk it and pray no one is nearby. And the survivor perk background player does not help with this at all, as it makes it much harder to secure a pickup. But this doesn't happen too often, and usually you manage to pick up a survivor with relative ease. But now you have to deal with probably one of the most unfair mechanics in the game: sabotaging hooks. Now, by itself, this mechanic is fine. However, not only sabotaging way too fast, especially when using a toolbox, but even if the killer gets to you and hits you, you still have more than enough time to sabotage the hook, and guarantee that the survivor will wiggle out or be slugged. There are also perks like Boil Over and Breakout, which help survivors wiggle out faster or make it harder for the killer to reach a hook in time, which make hooking even riskier. This is already pretty bad, but wait until I talk about the worst problem of them all. When you drop a survivor, their wiggle progress doesn't reset or even slowly regress, it saves until they get back up. This means that if it becomes impossible for you to hook someone, you can't even drop them and wait until it's safe to hook, forcing you to slug. But all of these problems are just half of the reasons why trying to hook can be a detriment to the killer, because many strong perks such as Deliverance or Dead Hard rely on the killer hooking survivors to be usable, and when a survivor is unhooked, they essentially become untouchable for the next 15 seconds, which is extremely overpowered in the endgame. Thank God they're reducing it to 10 seconds in the next update. So, hooking a survivor is basically like playing Russian roulette, but it's not like there is any other option. Or is there? We both know what I'm about to say. If you can't hook, the only option is to slug. Even though there are countless anti-slugging perks in Dead by Daylight, it's somehow still better than hooking in a lot of scenarios. Plus, half of those perks either need a prerequisite to activate or are simply too situational or niche. Even Unbreakable can be countered by simply slugging early in the match to try forcing the survivors to use it. Downing a survivor these days can already be a pain in the ass, and you're not even guaranteed to actually hook the survivor. Who thought this was fair in the slightest? This was just the first section of the video, by the way. I'm starting to think this video was a bad idea, actually, because I'm lazy as fuck. In the intro, I said that behavior has been changing the wrong things, but what did I mean by that? To put it simply, they have been trying to nerf slugging, but without making hooking easier. In the infamous PTB, where they tried adding a lot of controversial changes, they also tried adding an anti-slugging mechanic to prevent killers from slugging all match. In fact, they even gave buffs such as haste and wall hacks whenever you hooked a survivor, encouraging hooking over slugging. So they made slugging worse and rewarded killers for hooking. Do you see the problem here? Yep. They didn't make hooking easier, they just encouraged and almost forced you to take a stupid risk by trying to hook a survivor. And as I've said before in this video, there's a lot of cases in which hooking is just a detriment to you. The buffs given when hooking weren't necessary, because killers already have perks that basically do that exact thing. What the devs had to change is how stupidly difficult it is to actually hook a survivor against competent teams or just survivors playing together in general. And here comes the most important part of the video: how I would personally fix all of these issues. The most important changes would be 1. Making it so survivors who are dropped on the ground slowly lose their wiggle progress after around 3 seconds. I think something around 100% of the speed at which they, gained the wiggle progress would already be fine. And 2, sabotaging hooks taking at least twice as long as it does now, giving the killer enough time to change their plan and hopefully hook the survivor somewhere else. I don't think this even needs to be explicitly said, but I would also nerf all of the perks that make hooking an absolute pain in the ass or actively reward survivors for being hooked. Like, dude, if you get hooked, just... I don't know. I honestly wanted to make a joke, but I'm not gonna going off script, so yeah. This is probably the most controversial change, but I will rework flashlights by turning them into a sort of flashbang. Instead of slowly blinding the killer, they would do it instantly, but have a noticeable wind up to allow the killer to look away in time. So, with the next change, they wouldn't be completely useless and flashlight saves would actually be useful, because the change is making it so killers would gain 2 seconds of immunity from being blinded when picking up survivor. I don't want to get flashlights or sabotaging hooks. I think they are a very interesting mechanic, but they need changes to be more balanced and fair for both sides. Well, that's the video for you. I'm sorry if I didn't upload for over a month, but recently I really didn't have time to work on videos and honestly I wasn't in the mood either. But if you could please subscribe, that would be really appreciated, because I've been waiting to get to 1k subs for the past, like, what, 5 months? I've been in like 960 for the past like 5 months or something. Like, please subscribe, I'm going insane. Okay, that's it. Bye!